We are just about to finish the first part to discussing the true potential of a human being. We underestimate our power to do good, and I think we also underestimate the power that we have to do evil. Somebody asked me once, how come the Messiah is going to be able to do all these things to make this world a better place? How can one person do that? And really the answer is, if one person can ruin it, just look at World War II, one person can come up with this crazy idea and destroy the lives of millions and millions and millions of people, not just Jews. Same thing with somebody who has a great idea. Can sweep the world and make it a better place. Talked about 4 people. Adam HaRishon, Avraham Avinu, Moshe Rabbeinu, and Melech HaMashiach. All of them are really connected to one another, and they're connected to every Jew in the world. We are not going to develop feelings of yush. What's yush? Despair. We're not going to despair. We do want to return to the time of Adam HaRishon before the sin. We long for the time that we can live on the Madrega of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We see ourselves as standing in Har Sinai with Moshe Rabbeinu, and we are all looking and expecting the Mashiach to reveal himself. Even today. And then Ronnie will stay. He can't go. Only flights in, no flights out. So, in between the 4 figures, from Adam to Avraham, Avraham to Moshe to the Melech, Mashiach, there is a long line of people who have achieved moral perfection, that follow in the path of truth. They carry the teachings of their forefathers, and they keep the Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu from generation to generation. At the time of the Saba Mikelim, one of the personalities that was most famous in the world was a guy named Darwin. Ever heard of Darwin?
Yeah.
What did Darwin teach?
Evolution.
What does evolution boil down to? What is the origin of humanity? What's the last entity before human beings?
Monkey.
Right, an ape. So Darwin argued that the origin of the human being is from apes. Says the Alei Shur that according to Saba Mikelim, he said that Darwin could say that because he never met a human being. He never met Rav Yisrael Salanter. If he would have met Rav Yisrael Salanter, he would never, ever would have thought that human beings could ever come from apes. When the modern world shrinks the human being more and more, then it becomes easier and easier to see that maybe we did come from apes. Or to be more precise, we came from a shared ancestor. It's not that we're orangutans. What? Right? We have a shared ancestor. But the idea is that if you really understand what a human being is, the capabilities that we have, the potential to connect to Kadosh Baruch Hu, to be higher than angels, then there is no way that we're any similar to animals. So don't let modernity shrink you to believe that you are just an overgrown ape. Now, we're going to talk about the Torah and our role in learning Torah. כי המצווה הזאת אשר אנוכי מצווך היום לא נפלאתי ממך ולא רחוקה היא. This commandment that I command you today is not wondrous from you, it's not far from you. It's not in the heavens, it's not over across the seas. It's something that is very, very close to you in your mouth and in your heart to do. That's what in Parshas Nitzavim and Rashi commentary. So according to Rashi, these verses are talking about the Torah. That the Torah is not alien to you, it's not far from you, it's right there. It's very close to you. According to the Ramban, that Parsha is talking about tshuva. The ability to return to Hashem, change your ways, and become holy. Both of them are very close to us. How close? It says in Tehillim that Hashem is very close to us. The Ibn Ezra says in Tehillim, he says, Karov mikol karov. He's closest to anything that is close to you. God is even closer to the thing that is closer to you. What's the closest thing to you? The closest to you is you. So, according to the Ibn Ezra, God is closer to us than we are to ourselves. But what's the problem? Joe, what's the problem? Problem is we don't feel it. Correct? Harry? Do you feel close to God? That God is close to you? You don't feel it. We feel that the world of Torah and knowing God and tshuva is something that's very, very far. Things would be a lot easier for us if we actually felt the closeness. If you felt that every step you take, Hashem is with you, you would live a life that is very different than you're living now. I think that sometimes, if you've never eaten something that's disgusting, right, and you eat something that's disgusting, you know right away, like, oh, this is disgusting. If you taste something that's really good, you go, wow, what is it? I never had this before. That is, sometimes you have an experience, and even though you didn't have the experience, you know what that experience is. You may not know exactly what to call it, but you know whether it's a good experience or not. If you feel a sense of closeness, you would feel it. So let's try to figure out, what is this closeness? What is this distance that we feel? Where is it coming from? And what can we do to bridge the gap? How can we get closer and closer? Gavriel. Right? That's what we want. So listen to what the Ramchal writes in Derech Etz Chaim. V'zeh tireh. And look at this matter. Ki shnayim hem. They are two. But they've created with one characteristic. Man's intellect and the Torah that makes him wise. The Torah was called fire. Right? So we see that really the Torah is this light that is given to the Jewish people that make us wise. Allow us to see and understand things that otherwise we couldn't. And the Torah is holy. And it's something that is sort of above us, in a supernal realm, in a sense. And when human beings toil in the Torah, the light of the Torah shines in our neshama and allows us to rise higher and higher and higher. So the Alei Shur says that the Torah and our intellect fit one another like a lock and a key. A lock and a key. And the Ramchal says that the Torah has many faces, many interpretations, and the number of interpretations correlate to the number of souls there are in the world. So that each of our souls, right, has a place, a connection in the Torah. Now, the way that the Torah describes, the oral Torah describes the words of Torah, they're described as coals. Have you ever, like, when you're done cooking, the coals are still like embers? You know, there's like a little tingle there, right? And how do you get it to, you blow on it, right? Not too hard. You have to just, and all of a sudden the flame just, that's how it is. When you speak out the words of Torah, speaking it out, then we see that the fire grows and grows and grows. And why was the Torah given this way? Why didn't Hashem give the Torah as fire? Just fire. So the Ramchal says it's because knowledge of truth strengthens the neshama and distances the yetzer. And nothing weakens the neshama in front of the yetzer. Right? Imagine a teeter-totter. When you have a lack of knowledge. If knowledge was clear and would be at the heart of human beings, they would never sin. And the Yetzer would never be close to them and would never control them. And since the Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted the human being to have a Yetzer, so that he could either be defeated or defeat the Yetzer, then he put the knowledge in them in such a way that it is bound like a coal that could ignite and become fire, but it's up to you. So the knowledge that we have in our mind and the knowledge that's in the Torah is in the same state. And it's only when you put the two together that process produces the fire. And when you have the fire, the Yetzer Hara can't get you. Can't get you. But it's only when you don't know that the Yetzer Hara can get you. There's always a discussion whether angels have free will or not. So on the side, if we say that angels have free will, so why don't they sin? Because they have a greater knowledge than us. When they know, they see the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Why would they sin? That is, their knowledge base it makes their decision-making process much easier. It's only through toil, hard work, that we can get the Torah to be ignited. And when we ignite the Torah, we get fired up. And you feel it. And it was done this way for one reason, so that we have Bechira. Because if it was given to us ignited, we would never choose to do any of these silly things. You just stay and learn all day. Like you say, falafel for lunch, forget it. I'm just staying and learning. Since the light was hidden in the Torah and in our mind, then Moshe Rabbeinu had to tell us that the Torah, that the connection to Hashem, that tshuva is very, very close to us. Because we don't really feel it, but it's there. So why aren't we feeling it? We believe in God. We picked our path of Torah and mitzvahs, right? This is not something that was superimposed on us by others. We're making the choice to sit here and learn. We're making the choice to get up and leave also, right? We make the choices. So why is it that we feel far from Hashem on our day-to-day basis? As we may feel sometimes there are days that we feel like we're very, very, very close to Hashem. Like, wow. But other days, go to Minyan, eat breakfast. Okay. You don't really feel. You have to remember that what makes us feel distant from Hashem has a name. What's the name of it? Yetzer. Yetzer. The Yetzer Hara functions in us and causes us to feel distant from Torah and from serving Hashem. But how does he do that? How does it do that? So listen to what the Gemara says in Masechet Shabbos. The person who tears his clothes in anger, breaks his dishes in anger, throws his money in anger, you should look at him as if he is serving an idol. Okay? So you're watching a guy who just lost it. He's having a temper tantrum, he's screaming and yelling, somebody took my detergent, how dare you? And he grips the clothes and he throws stuff. Right? You're watching this sin, the guy losing it. And so here the Gemara says you should look at him as if he's serving idols. Why? Says the Gemara, Shikachu manuto shel Yetzer Hara. That's how the Yetzer Hara works. Today it says go do this, tomorrow it says go do that, and then the next day it's going to tell him to serve idols. Amar Ravi Abin, Maikra, what's the pasuk that tells you this? It says, Lo yeh becha kel zar, velo tishtachav kel nechar. Ezo kel zar, sheyesh begufo shel adam. So the pasuk says, you shall not have a false deity in you. So the Gemara says, what does that mean, in you? It says that is called the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara is going to start with something small and keep moving it higher and higher and higher and higher to a point where you're kissing some statue in the middle of India not knowing why. Yeah. So that's how the Yetzer Hara works. Starts with little things and keeps adding them. So the Yetzer Hara is like a foreign deity in us. And his job is to bring us to serve idols. What does that mean? It means that the Yetzer Hara is the feeling, the power that causes us to feel distant, different. And the Yetzer Hara has two parts to it. There's the part that is for our benefit, which makes us go to work, makes us have dreams. We want to be successful. We want to make money. We want to have a house, get married, have children, right? All the things that what we would call motivational. We don't want to just sit and learn Torah for the rest of our life. We want to succeed in life. So there's an aspect of the Yetzer Hara that is good. But there's a part of the Yetzer Hara that goes beyond these boundaries and brings you to actually sin. It takes over you such that you become a stranger to yourself and a stranger to Hashem, and that's why it's called Avodah Zara. Right? Strange word, because it made you a stranger to yourself and to Hashem. That's what we're fighting against. That's what we're trying to fight against. We're not trying to fight against the positive motivation to become successful in life. Right? That's not it. There's no problem with that. Kadosh Baruch Hu wants us to be successful. He doesn't want us to all fail, to become wannabes, or almost wannabes. Right? It's somebody who almost wanted to be something and he didn't. So the idea is to battle this Yetzer. But it means that this type of quality makes us feel different, strange, distant from who we really are. Okay, now, The Rosh writes in his book, Orchot Chaim, that a person should stay away from frivolity, like laughing, not just, normal laugh, but party attitude. What was that term that you used, Oren? Hanging out. Hanging out. Hanging around, laughing, kidding around. Chilling. Oh, that was it, chilling. I knew I didn't remember the word. Chilling. And stay away from anger, because it confuses the spirit and your mind. That's what the Yetzer Hara can do. It can cause you to be confused. And if a person, let's say, is jealous in others, what does jealousy mean? You see the good in others, but you don't see the good in yourself. That's the problem with jealousy. You look at others and you say, they have this, but you don't look at what you have. Focus is wrong. And so the person is estranged to himself because he doesn't recognize the good that he doesn't have to look at what this guy has, or I wish I had his looks, his money, his this, his that. No, you have it. You have it. You just feel estranged from yourself and you don't recognize all the positive things that you have. There's no reason for you to look at the guy and try to be jealous of him. You have it. It's not like you can get it. You have it. Nobody is born lo yutzlach, unsuccessful, loser. Everybody has incredible potential. They just don't recognize it. Or they misrecognize it. They think they have a potential for X, but it's really for Y. And then their whole life is... So, the pursuit of money, pleasure, and honor cause a person to lose his mind and to reach a level that he is estranged from himself. He's no longer who he really is. And this is what this statement means, that jealousy and desires and kavod and honor take a man out of this world. What world? Physical world? No, he's still here. His inside world of who he really is. Because he's pursuing things that don't lead him anywhere. It causes estrangement and alienation from who he really is. So it's only through bad moral characters that a person loses connection with himself. And if you lose connection with yourself, guess who else do you lose connection with? With Hashem. With Hashem. And the only way to get back on track is by working on your moral qualities. Refocusing. What's my goal? What am I trying to do in this world? To recognize also the good that you have in you. It's a challenge. It's very hard to project that you believe in yourself when you don't really believe in yourself. This ability for us to become alienated from ourselves, to feel estranged in our own body, right? Without any feelings, no understandings, no connections, no love. It's there. It's there. And they can take over you. Just watch when you get angry. You lose. That's it. Doesn't matter. You lose everything. And it's a terrible, terrible aspect of humanity. Now, when a person learns Torah, he has the ability to release the hold of this estrangement through his learning. You believe that that's going to happen? So listen to what the Gemara says. There's a Gemara in Yuma. It says, Rabbi Yochanan said, it says, Katuv Zav, Krinan Zer. which means what? The pasuk says strange, zer, and we read it zer, zir. Zir means crown. So it says zacha naset lo zir. Lo zacha, zara himeno. If he merited, the Torah becomes a crown. He didn't merit, it becomes estranged from him. So listen to this. If you merit, the Torah is a crown, becomes part of you. If you don't merit, estranged. So does Torah study immediately make you connected and fixes everything? According to this Gemara? No. It's dependent on whether you're zacha or not zacha. If you're zoiche, you get it. If you're not, you don't get it. What determines whether you're zoiche or not? So here's what he says. Im adam lo zacha. The word zacha means zach, pure. If a person is pure with his midot, with his moral virtues, the Torah becomes a crown. If you have bad moral qualities, it's just going to stay alienated from you. And that's it. The Torah is the world of closeness and friendship to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And if you don't have the right moral character, you're not going to have a connection to the Kadosh Baruch Hu or the Torah. So the prerequisite, and it's something that we should work on, is becoming better human beings. And only if we become better human beings, then we can actually learn the Torah, and it'll be a crown for us. And it'll do all the things that it's supposed to do. And with that, we'll start Mincha.